Hi everyone, today we're going to dive deeper into conditioning. So if you're looking to learn the basics for your exam, you're in the right place. Let's do this. An unconditioned stimulus is something that naturally triggers a response without any prior learning. It's biologically hardwired, like food causing salivation or a loud noise causing fear. In classical conditioning, it's the basis for learning through association. Here's a couple examples to solidify this for you. An unconditioned stimulus could be the smell of food causing hunger, or a puff of air to the eye causing a blink. A conditioned stimulus is a previously neutral stimulus. However, after being paired with an unconditioned stimulus, it elicits a learned response. It signals that the unconditioned stimulus is coming. The CS, or conditioned stimulus, gains meaning through repeated associations. Here's a couple examples of conditioned stimuli. The sound of a bell that now causes salivation. This is a reference to Pavlov's dogs. Or another one is a white lab coat that causes anxiety in somebody who had painful medical experiences. Here's the two big types of conditioning. Operant conditioning involves learning through consequences. Behaviors are either strengthened or weakened based on reinforcement or punishment. This was developed by B.F. Skinner. It focuses on voluntary behavior shaped by its outcomes. The learner is active. They're choosing to perform a behavior based on expected results. Classical conditioning is a learning process where a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a naturally occurring stimulus, eventually triggering a similar response. This learning happens through repeated pairings of the stimuli. It was first demonstrated by Ivan Pavlov using dogs, bells, and food. So operant conditioning is B.F. Skinner and the rats. Classical conditioning is Ivan Pavlov and the dogs. So here's a couple examples for each. For operant conditioning, we have a student studies to earn praise from their teacher. They're actively studying. Next we have a child stops throwing tantrums after being ignored when doing so. They're changing their behavior. For classical conditioning, a child hears a dentist drill and starts to feel anxious after several painful visits. And lastly, we have a dog salivates at the sound of a can opener because it signals mealtime. If you notice with both of these, there's an internal response because of an external thing in their environment. Let's move on to positive and negative reinforcement and punishment. First, we have positive reinforcement. This involves adding something desirable after a behavior to increase the likelihood it will occur again. It strengthens behavior by rewarding it. This is one of the most effective ways to teach new skills. Here's a couple examples. Giving a child candy for doing homework, or praising an employee after a successful presentation. Their behavior was good, and we're adding something good to get them to do it more. Next is negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement involves removing an unpleasant stimulus after a behavior to increase that behavior. It is not punishment, it's relief. The behavior is strengthened because it helps the person avoid or escape discomfort. We're taking the discomfort away to get them to do more of the good thing. So here's some examples. Taking aspirin to get rid of a headache. That discomfort, that bad thing, that headache is going away, which is going to make you want to take the action of taking aspirin more often. Next we have buckling a seatbelt to stop the car's annoying beeping. The annoying beeping gets removed because we did the good thing, buckling our seatbelt. Negative punishment. This means taking away something desirable after a behavior to reduce the behavior. It involves loss of privileges or rewards. This discourages behavior by removing access to something the individual values. A couple examples of this are losing TV time for misbehavior. They did the behavior you don't want them to do, so they lose the thing that they like. Another one along the lines of this, a teenager's phone is taken away after breaking curfew. The bad behavior is taking curfew, they're losing the privilege of their phone. Last is positive punishment, and this is actually the least effective one. Positive punishment means adding an unpleasant consequence after a behavior to decrease the likelihood of that behavior happening again. It introduces something aversive. It is used to discourage behavior. We won't get into this too much, but it actually encourages avoiding the consequence more than it discourages the actual behavior you're trying to target. That's why it's considered the least effective of the four. Some examples include getting a speeding ticket for driving too fast. You did the bad behavior, so they're adding something negative. A child touches a hot stove and feels pain. Another great example of this would be spanking. Next, let's talk about extinction. Extinction occurs when a learned behavior weakens or disappears because it is no longer reinforced. So in operant conditioning, they're no longer rewarded. Or the conditioned stimulus is no longer paired with the unconditioned stimulus, like in classical conditioning. It's not unlearning, but rather it's a decrease in response strength. Spontaneous recovery can sometimes follow extinction. So here's a couple examples. A dog stops salivating when a bell rings without them getting food. So the bell's still ringing, but they're not getting food. So then the bell no longer means that they are going to start salivating. Another one is a child stops cleaning their room when stickers are no longer given as a reward. Why would I do it? I'm not going to sticker anymore. If you're watching this video because you're studying for the National Counselor exam, I have an NCE exam prep affiliate link in my bio. It doesn't change the price for you, but it's a great way for you to support my channel if you're looking at getting that package anyways. Thanks for watching till the end. Like this video if you found it helpful, and best of luck on your journey towards becoming a therapist.